Welcome to another episode of Raven Conversations. I'm Joe Seamantle, State Public Affairs Officer for the Washington National Guard. And today I'm joined by Senior Master Sergeant Naz Brockman, who's with the 194th Wing over on Camp Murray. But she is actually here today as the National Guard Association of Washington President, and you're going to talk to us about what is the National Guard Association, how it works with the national level, and then the state conference. We appreciate you joining us, Naz.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share more about NGAW on this platform. So I've been in the Air National Guard for almost 20 years. I've had a diverse career. I started in operations as a 1 Charlie 5, and then I moved over to personnel, and I've had the best, I think, 3 years so far in my Air National Guard career as the Human Resources Advisor. And what I do in that job is, plan professional development courses and workshops, and really have one-on-one time with airmen who are, having maybe a hard time with understanding, what their role is in the workplace. So I kind of give them that emotional support through different tips and tricks of how to handle, interpersonal situations. So.
Yeah, and you guys just recently won a national level award for that work.
We did. The team did an amazing job trying to figure out the best way to incorporate trainings and diversity conversations at the wing level, and it proof is in the pudding. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, and you guys
have
won.
Been recognized.
We're nationally recognized for that work.
It's super cool, and it's we couldn't have done it without our leadership support from General Doherty to General Welsh to Colonel Borchers. They really championed and supported the cause.
Yeah. So you've been now the National Guard Association Washington President for 2 years, which is kind of the end of your term. And before that, you were the Vice President, correct?
No, I was the Legislative Director.
Okay.
Which I think I'm going back to. So it's legislative sandwich, if you will.
So for those that don't know and maybe are new to the Guard even, what is the National Guard Association?
So it's interesting. I guess I should start off by saying how I got involved. So in 2015, 2016, I was going to Evergreen State College to get my degree. And my GI Bill, you can't double dip with federal funds, so my GI Bill couldn't cover the cost of my education because I was activated to be AGR for a few months. But I didn't have enough time to do the financial assistance route through federal funding, so I kind of was out of pocket having to pay for school while I was on orders. And then when I was at headquarters, a good friend suggested that I apply for at the time it was called the secondary grant. Secondary grant?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called? But there was a condition towards it, like you had to, had so many years of service and you had to commit to a couple more years after that. And then the restrictions were weird, but it still worked out. I was able to receive those funds, and I eventually graduated from college in 2017. So I was super grateful, and NGAW was behind that bill that supported those educational funds. So, I can't let any stone go unturned, so you got to pay it forward. And so NGAW reached out and asked if I could, through at the time, Bridget Crosby. I worked with her on the militia ball, and she said, I need to join NGAW and be a part of it. And I said, well, they did pay for my help pay for my education, so yeah, why not? And then it turned into me going to meetings. It turned into me getting an invitation to one of the state national conferences at Sam Yahoo Resort, and I was actually the guest speaker. So I shared a little bit about my educational journey and how important education is to me and my family, and just for career and growth development. Because in the Air National Guard, in order to make a higher rank, you have to have your 2-year degree. And guardsmen and women, they don't have access sometimes to the GI Bill because there's stipulations about how many months they have to serve. So there's all these layers of challenges that guardsmen and women experience, but but they aren't seen as equals. But we all know that guard folks are called to duty at a drop of a hat and have to drop their jobs, their families behind. And, you know, what are we doing to support them? So this is where NGAW comes in. Mm-hmm. We are affiliated with the military in that we are made up of members of the service. But technically, I have to look at my notes, we are a nonprofit that truly advocates on your behalf here at the Capitol and in D.C. And we do that by way of some grassroots involvement. We want to hear from the 8,000 guardsmen and women in the Washington Guard, and we want to hear, you know, what's affecting you, what's preventing you from wanting to stay in the military, because it is about quality of life too, and we want to make sure we retain the best talent. And I mean, truly, we have some technological hubs here, and we want to, you know, incorporate that into all our mission sets. So we have a standout community, but we're not on par with active duty benefits, and it's a sad battle that we have to fight. But we do that on this platform through NGAW.
Yeah. So you mentioned state conference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you kind of a chance for you to plug, what is it? When is it?
It's
where
a great
is
time.
it? Kind of thing.
Yes. So the NGAW State Conference is being held at the Olympia Hotel at Capitol Lake on May 13th. And it's an all-day affair for the most part. And there actually is a tour of the state capitol that we set up as well for the first 40 to sign up. So,
yeah. And the Secretary of State is going to be your kind of guest speaker / tour host of the Capitol, which is it's always a buzz down here, no matter what is happening.
Absolutely.
You know, and right now I know session is currently going on, so there's quite a bit happening here. So it's kind of a nice time to see it.
Yeah, and the theme, as created by, I call him Dan the Man. He's the vice president, the VP, who I hope will be president soon. He came up with the theme of bring your voice to the Capitol, and that's a really big part of what we do here is we take your feedback, we take your concerns, and we are the bridge to our legislators. Please use us. This is why we exist. And we are made up of volunteers, and these are guardsmen and women who have full-time jobs, families, TDYs, PME, and they, in their spare time, they support NGAW. And I am so grateful to be a part of this community because I've gotten so much mentorship, and I've just learned how to be a better leader because of the people in this team. Yeah. It's been amazing.
So beside the state conference, there's also national conferences.
There is.
And as a lifetime member, I can help out with this one.
Hey.
I'm a NGAW lifetime member.
Awesome.
So national conference is you've got the officers, which is the NGAW Association, and then you have NGAW, which is the enlisted.
Yes.
Talk about NGAW with NGAW, right? It's always a destination, and you get to meet officers from across the country. They all come together and they support the same exact things you guys are doing with NGAW at the state level, but more of a national level. Very similar with NGAW, right?
Absolutely. But one unique thing that I've noticed between the officers and the enlisted associations is that there's more of a leaning towards taking care of people. Officers normally, they focus on the manning and the equipment and budget items for units and things like that. But on the enlisted side, it's all about benefits, helping to support airmen and soldier growth and recruiting and retention. And I see that there is a sort of a collaboration between both associations to really focus on taking care of our people, and that's pretty cool. Something that I've noticed in the last few years.
Yeah. So for those that are watching or new guardsmen, how do they get involved? How do they become part of NGAW?
Well, it's very easy. So one, they can become a member, and through membership is how you receive some of our communications. You can also follow us on social media. We have a very active Facebook account. Our website too, ngaw.org, has a lot of information to include like our bylaws, how we run our business, and then future events as well. These last few years, I think Colonel Blanco kind of started it off with, having golf tournaments, Guard on Tap. So, come to these events, learn a little bit about us. You can volunteer as well. And if you're interested in being a member, yes, please, I'll take your membership. And I'll explain why. Membership speaks to the numbers in regards to constituency. So the bigger voice we have here in Olympia and in DC, it really is representative of how many constituents are Guard members and members of the association. It gives us a bigger voice. So when we go and do these calls to actions for certain bills here locally and nationally, they really do look at how many people do we represent. And so your membership matters, absolutely. So this is not a plug to ask for your membership, because I'm not sure.
Just information, right?
It's just information. Yeah. But you can totally call me or talk to Courtney Lawson over at the 225 on McCord. She's our membership director, as well as Sean Neal for the officers.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about NGAW that we may have forgot?
I want to say that, did I talk about the event really at all? No? May 13th?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so you can also stay there overnight if you'd like. The Friday before, we have committee workshops that you can attend, from legislative to membership, scholarship committee as well. And we have a finance committee that has been very active due to Steve Valletta, because he's pulling in all these awesome sponsors, to include Boeing, and he's working on a couple other businesses in the area. Really grateful for his support. But yeah, come check us out if you'd like. It's going to be held at the museum, civilian attire, and I can send folks the schedule if they want. Do I point here and you can click?
Yeah. You can say we can add the stuff to the notes.
Add the stuff to the notes. Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you.
If you're interested in NGAW and finding out more, we can definitely add that into the notes. If you're interested in the website, we can add that in there. If you like the video, let us know. Give us a like, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe for future videos. And thanks for joining us. Thanks.
Thank you.